Down to 10 is a Horizon 2020 project focusing on particle exhaust emissions going below the current size threshold of 23 nanometers. The consortium comprises key research institutes from 7 EU countries and is coordinated by the Laboratory of Applied Thermodynamics at the Aristotle University of Thessaloniki. The project team also monitors developments and has established a research exchange with research teams in the US and Japan. Vehicles and their exhaust produce nanoparticles that we are exposed to in our everyday lives, during commuting or just performing our usual activities within an urban environment. Engines produce primary particles as a result of in-cylinder combustion and consumption of lubricant oil. These primary particles, often called soot, comprise carbonaceous material and inorganic ash particles that are called core mode and mostly reside below 23 nanometers. As primary particles exit the tailpipe and the exhaust cools down and dilutes in the wake of the vehicle, semi-volatile organic and inorganic material condenses on the pre-existing particle surface or nucleates to form new particles. Such delayed primary particles remain in the atmosphere from a few seconds after emission up to several hours depending on meteorological conditions. As time goes by, photooxidation further transforms primary particles by the surface oxidation reactions and the addition of oxidized material of low volatility. Formation of new particles may also occur in this stage, producing a secondary aerosol which is suspended in the atmosphere for several days until scavenging or evaporation by extensive oxidation. Current emission control regulations only address the number of non-volatile particles above 23 nanometers. This leaves smaller and semi-volatile particles out of regulation. On average, light-duty vehicles with the latest emission control systems produce 40% higher numbers of non-volatile particles when the size range below 23 nanometers is taken into consideration. The number of particles left out of regulation depends on the engine and after-treatment configuration as well as operation conditions. Most importantly, delayed primary and the potential to form secondary particles are not addressed by regulations. Down to 10 for the first time offers the possibility to measure delayed primary and secondary particles on board the vehicle. Down to 10 partners have developed a portable sampling system to sample particles on board the vehicle. A primary porous tube diluter is directly connected to the tailpipe. Hot dilution air is used to avoid condensation and draw a sample of primary particles as they exist in the tailpipe. Use of a porous tube decreases particle losses on the walls. A secondary porous tube diluter operating on ambient temperature simulates gradual atmospheric dilution and provides conditions for delayed primary particles to form. Finally, an oxidation flow reactor exposes delayed primary particles to an oxidative environment and irradiates them with the UV light to simulate and accelerate atmospheric aging conditions. In this way, real-time measurement of secondary particles becomes possible. Optionally, a volatile particle remover, largely known as VPR, can be used to meet the thermal treatment requirements of current regulations. The VPR, which can either be an evaporation tube or a catalytic stripper, removes volatile and semi-volatile material and allows sampling of non-volatile or solid particles as defined by current regulations. Packaging of the whole sampling system in a box allows measurements to be conducted on board the vehicle under any road conditions, including so-called real drive emissions, or RDE. The Down to 10 sampling system design allows to sample any type of particles, including primary, delayed primary, secondary and non-volatile ones from a single system. Most importantly, this occurs in real time. In particular, for secondary particles which traditionally take hours to days to form in a research chamber, the Down to 10 portable oxidation reactor allows these to form in real time, hence allowing us to study which driving and operation conditions are most relevant in the formation of secondary particulate matter in the atmosphere. The system can fit in the trunk of a vehicle, thus forming a versatile and portable exhaust particle sampling system. Using the down to 10 sampling system, we have already found that decreasing the particle size threshold below 23 nanometers may be critical for compliance with the emission limits, especially for gasoline-powered vehicles. And there are many more fuel after-treatment and operation conditions for which we only little know how they affect particle emissions. Our project is going to study those conditions considered critical for nanoparticle formation. We therefore expect that our project will succeed in everything that it set out to do.